Dave, thanks very much for being on, not a show, whatever they call these things, blogs, vlogs, whatever they are. So I've introduced some interesting people, and you're the first person who was requested. So I think, and you probably know him, Hubcap John.
Oh yeah.
John. Currently rocking out on a few of his pedals at the moment. But he and a couple of other people actually said, "Oh, have you spoken to Dave?" And the honest truth is, I hadn't really seen much of your stuff. I'd sort of picked up on you around the Boss Katana and a few other things that you had done. But it wasn't sort of not one of the regular people I'd been watching. So I kind of went through some of your old videos and kind of had a look around at what you did, and I was really, really hooked quite quickly because you've got a really approachable way of doing videos. Tell us a little bit about you.
Crikey.
Just start soft and work our way up, you know?
Yeah. What can I talk about me? It's like I play guitar, and that's literally all I do. It's like one feature of me. Like that is literally it. Yeah, that's about it. You know, I just love music. That's all from as soon as I found the guitar, everything clicked. The world clicked. I understood everything, and I don't understand anything. That was a silly thing to say. But I understood me better, if that makes any sense. Through music, through the guitar, it gave me a bit more of an insight into what I want to do with me. Vague.
No, it makes perfect sense. Actually, it's a common theme actually when people find music, and it's in one way or another, it's an epiphany for various different reasons. Some people, it's like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. For others, it's like me, it's what I wish I could do with my life. And then for some, it's just a way of expressing themselves that's private, personal. So I think it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing was for me as well is like guitar was always that kind of little window into me. I never wanted to. As soon as I found the guitar, I gave up drinking, and I gave up any extracurricular activities. Considering I was like 16, 17 years old.
I was about to say.
Like, yeah, but there's a lot of underage drinking there. But I did all my drinking and all that kind of silly stuff before I was 18 years old. As soon as I got to 18 years old, I just like stopped everything. And I was like, nope, the guitar is all I want. So got all that out of my system, so to say, and got rid of that. And then as soon as the guitar came along, I was like, literally everything. Sorry, my phone. I realised it was noise. I always do that. As soon as I found the guitar and I could make it kind of sing and speak, it was like, I don't need anything else. It was just, the guitar was just all of a sudden I found a way of being able to express what I wanted to express. And like, I found like the guitar can scream and cry and argue and get nasty when I can't, because I'm not very good at that kind of thing. So the guitar gave me the ability to actually vent things in a healthy way, which was good. And I needed that at that time.
So you took music up about 16. What did you do with it from there?
As soon as like music came along, it was just literally kind of like pursue it with everything I've got. I remember going to a live gig when I was about 17 years old at Rock City in Nottingham. And the band were terrible, but the whole concept of it, I remember I'd only been playing guitar for about a year by that point, probably not even a year, it's probably just below a year. And I was just like, I want to do what they're doing. I want to connect with people basically through music, and I want to be able to play and people to get it, instead of just kind of like playing for the sake of like, hey, look at me, like aren't I amazing? So I want to play and kind of like be like, people go, I feel the same way, or that makes me feel better, or I understand what you're trying to say, or I'm not interested in kind of being showy, and that just kind of like progressed as well. There was periods where I was like, I want to be Yngwie Malmsteen and do all this kind of stuff. And that ended fairly quickly because I found Jimi Hendrix, and obviously John Frusciante was already there. But I was like, I want to do what they do. I want that connection and of there's no barrier between them, the guitar, music, and then the audience they're putting it out to. It's just like they're all one, and I like that because it's more of a communal kind of thing instead of kind of like people watching you. They're part of it, and that feels better than kind of like just like you're watching it and going, oh yeah, it's good. It's like you are part of that song. You are part of the music. You're part of what's going on at that period of time.
So, loving the live audience and all that sort of thing, you started doing YouTube.
Yeah. It was weird. Yeah, but the YouTube thing came about. It was watching watching Andertons, which was then Rob Chapman's channel. Watching their videos. I remember watching the first video they ever did on the Slash video, where it was like sound like Slash. And I remember watching that first video and going, oh, I like this. And I kind of stuck with it ever since. And the same thing was with Phil X as well, with the Fred Americana videos. And I was like, this looks wicked. I like what these two channels are doing. I like what they're doing. And so I thought, oh, there's a vintage guitar shop nearby that I go to, used to go to really frequently. I thought, could I kind of weasel my way in there to kind of demo in their guitars and really expensive guitars? That kind of like, just like basically just try and kind of do my own version of Anderton's Rob Chapman and Phil X kind of thing. Could I do that? And the owner agreed. I'd been going there for years and he agreed. And it was just literally kind of like went from there really. And I soon discovered that I really, really enjoyed it. It was the first couple of videos I was like, this is literally terrifying. Just like looking at a camera going, what do I do? How do I speak to it? And then you realize you don't speak to it. You think they're people. You think of people who, you think you're talking to a person, not a camera. And as it kind of got further and further on, it just becomes something that I really, really love doing. And I say to this day, I just really enjoy it. I mean, I love doing live streams and stuff like that, but with copyright issues, I can't play songs, which is sad. But it's a dream of mine to one day do kind of like some kind of weird meet and greet thing, if that's ever a possibility. Because I'd love to meet the people who watch my channel in person. That'd be really cool. But I don't know how that'll happen. But like, hopefully one day I might be able to get that sorted. But yeah, the live thing is, I love playing music live. I've always loved playing music live. It's funny because I've played my entire musical career has just been on the pub circuit. It's never gone above. I don't normally get to play stages or anything like that, and you normally play to about 20 people if you're lucky. And it's funny with YouTube. It's I played to more people on YouTube than I have ever had in a live situation, and I've connected with people on YouTube, and that really means a lot to me, and I like that. It really feels good to play for people who really I'll say try connect, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You get the rowdy people in the pub who are just like sure. Yeah,
play Little Wing.
Or Smoke on the Water, or any Kings of the No. I can play this for you. No, don't like that. Okay, fine. Here's a gun. Oh, great.
Well, you're Nottingham way as well, so that is definitely going to happen as well.
Yeah.
My other half is from Mansfield.
All right, yeah.
So I'm fully aware of how the pubs work around there.
Yeah, there's been a few sketchy gigs where pint glasses have been launched at my head. I remember one gig where this pint glass went boom and just skimmed my hair and smashed on the wall behind me. I was like, that was a bit close.
But did you miss the chord?
I don't remember. It was just kind of like this kind of weird slowdown moment where I was like, no. It just kind of flew past. It was terrifying.
It makes me think of Blues Brothers when they're playing at the country and western bar, and they hate them, so they start throwing bottles at them. They love them, so they start throwing bottles at them. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, these guys definitely hated us. So we knew where we stood.
So I'm trying to think which way around to do this with you, actually, because I said I don't know as much about you as I did some of the other ones. And it's interesting you mentioned sort of Rob Chapman and that lot, because I spoke to Rob Chapman a few weeks ago doing the same sort of thing as this.
Yeah.
And again, it's funny because everyone I've spoken to, their connection to music is really deep. And it's always been, but everyone I've spoken to, music came first. And then kind of the YouTube thing happened for various almost accidental reasons, similar things to you, where thought I'd have a go at it. Somebody did a video because they didn't like videos that were out there and they thought they could do better. So YouTube, I'm going to guess, isn't your full-time job at this stage?
Well, at this point in time, because with the viruses going on, yeah, there's no live music. So at this point in time, it is literally the only thing that I do. So I'm really grateful for it, to be honest with you, because without it, I wouldn't have anything. Because there's nothing you can do. You can't kind of like, you can't go out gigging, you can't rehearse, you can't busk, you can't teach in the same room, and so YouTube is at this point in time my only means of kind of like doing music, and I count myself supremely lucky in that respect, because I do know some musicians who relied solely on gigging. And because of everything that's going on, because they're not allowed to gig, it's kind of like, it's looking questionable if they'll ever be able to do it again. But yeah, so I count myself really lucky with YouTube, because I say a lot of people are kind of really struggling to kind of, it's questionable if they can do it again. And YouTube gives me that ability to actually perform live every week. I mean, it's live to an extent, in the fact of everything I do is improvised. It's never thought out. So I ain't got the brain power to go, right, how could what they do this? It's like, I'm just going to pick up a guitar and play and see what happens. But I like that more, to be honest. I like the idea of you can capture a moment in time, and you don't have to really. I don't like overanalyzing things. I don't like sitting down and really kind of trying to figure out the ins and outs of a chord progression or a scale or some kind of like, this, that, and the other. It's like, just play and just get lost in it, and whatever happens, mistakes, good bits, bad bits, whatever, just accept it for what it is, because it's a point in time and that won't happen again. So it's really important to and I like that.
Yeah. It's because some guys I've spoken to, they have 10 videos stacked up, ready to go, scheduled ahead. I'm very similar in that it's a kind of, right, what have I got? What's in the room that I can review? My reviews often feel very amateur's the word I'm going to look for here, because you kind of sit there and go, right, I've got a pedal now. Here's me playing the pedal. Here's me turning the dial on the pedal. I'm going to flick the switch and see what happens. Whereas some guys, you kind of, Colin Scott, his channel, he's got like the schematics out for it. He can tell you what each diode did. And I love that variation. I think it's really great. Yeah. There are so many different ways of approaching it that are successful. Because you are successful. You've got over 60,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I mean that's good. Yeah, I mean I never in a million. I mean, when I started doing YouTube, I thought, oh, this will be. I'm looking forward to doing it because I can make videos. I can demo guitars, and I can just do what I want. But I never expected to get to where it is. It's just absolutely crazy. And again, it's just one of those things that I wake up every morning and I go, God, I'm so grateful for this. Like, whatever I did right, I'm certainly glad I did it, because like it is. I never take any of it for granted, of the fact of like, where I am and what I get to do. It blows my mind. Like I say, it gives me ability to pursue my music full time, which, without it and without the people who follow me, that would never happen. So always eternally grateful for the opportunity to actually be able to do this thing. It's really cool. So yeah, it is. It's wicked. Yeah.
Good description. YouTube is wicked.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's got flaws. It's got copyright issues, but yeah. But in the same way, I've got to think. I've got to think in a way. It's made me think differently about how I do my videos, because I can't cover. Oh, I'm gonna do an intro song covering Jimi Hendrix, or I'm gonna do this John Frusciante riff, or this. I have to think. I can't play that. So what can I play that sounds like that in the style of Jimmy, John, Rory Gallagher, or whatever? Like, what can I do?
All right, let's turn to gear for a minute. Guitar stuff. What's just thinking about your 16-year-old confessions there. What's your kind of favorite bit of gear at the moment? Because you're probably like me, you have lots of things come through, you try lots of stuff, sell lots of stuff. Start with guitar. What is your current favorite guitar?
I don't know. It's really hard. Well, my current favorite is my red guitar here, which is always near me, no matter ifs, no buts. And this is probably my go-to guitar more than anything recently, just because I've got a real strong connection with it, because it came along at a certain time, and again, it's to my specs and stuff. But I've got kind of like 3 main guitars that I kind of like, if all of my guitars had to go, these 3 would be the ones that stay. And this is one of them. Another one is my white Mexican Strat, which I've had since 2004. And that's the guitar that kind of is like, that's the guitar that I've learned everything on, basically. That is like, my first ever guitar is just hung on the wall there, but my white Mexican Strat is the guitar that always, I've learned every song on it, I learned all the techniques I can on it, and it's my number one, no ifs, no buts. And the other one is a 62 Strat that I've got, and those 3 are my kind of main guitars. But for some reason at this point in time, this guitar is the main guitar for me, and I think it will be for a long time. It's just, there's just something in it. So every guitar feels differently, and they all have different kind of weird vibes to them in different kind of ways. And some things will let you do things that others won't. Yet other guitars will let you do whatever you want. And this is one of those guitars that no matter what I want to do, this guitar goes with me. It's like, oh, what fancy doing that? It's like, yep, we've got you. And it's just like, yeah, let's do that. It's never like, it's like, well, I don't know about that. This guitar is just like, yeah, fine, I'm with you. Let's go. And that's always really important to me. And I say I do have certain guitars that are just kind of like, I'm not doing that. So you have to kind of play it in a different kind of manner. But my white Strat, the red Oswald, and the 62 of those guitars that really are beyond, like, very strong connection kind of up there with everything. It's crazy. But yeah, so that's my current kind of guitars. Amp wise is I was about to say I've got too many. I don't have too many. I ain't got enough.
Of course you haven't.
Yeah. What's this nonsense about having too many? But yeah, I mean, I've been using the Boss Katana forever now, since I got the 50 and then got the 100 and the Marshall MG and the orange. But yeah, I mean, I don't really. Again, they're the kind of like the holy 3, if you want to call it anything of my amps. Like the Boss Katana, the CR120, and the Marshall MG are like there has to be something special to beat those 3. And it's they are just like my little voice, so to say. But heaven forfend if I ever got to the ability to kind of like play a big show, I would be a sound guy's worst nightmare, because I would have like 300 watt amps going, and I think I don't know if I'd be allowed in this day and age, but
probably not actually. No, you can mic up the 5 watter.
Yeah. If you're lucky, yeah. That's a bit too loud. Have you got any 1 watts? No. You just play acoustically. No, it needs to be loud.
I saw a great meme the other day, which was like back when I first started guitar, 1990s, everyone wanted the Marshall stack. I should have bought a bigger amp. And now as you're getting a bit older, it's like, I should have bought a smaller amp.
Yeah.
So you're one of the guys, you and Andy Ferris are the ones who convinced me to get the Boss Katana 100. I suddenly realized that I had this little 30 watts Valvetronics from Vox. It just couldn't stack up with a live drum kit. So I started looking around, and sort of videos that you did and stuff that Andy did, the Boss Katana seemed like a really good option. And I got the Katana, I got the foot switch, the 5-way foot switch and all that. I programmed everything in. And found myself just using it as the clean channel with a distortion pedal. And I didn't use any of the built-in effects. I still don't use any of the built-in effects. It's just a really nice, clean platform. And then I have a little pedal board that's got all the sounds that are me on it. And it's taught me, weirdly, having all of that flexibility has taught me to not use any of it and just find a tone that I like and use that in a beautifully clean amp that can do any volume in any room, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
that's what's so great about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Katana. I mean, I've got mine set up in such a way because it's my main gigging amp now. Because I totally about 2 years ago, I totally put my back out. I was for years and years and years, I gigged with when I first started, kind of. I got my first Marshall half stack in 2004, Marshall MG half stack. And then I obviously wanted the extra cab, so I had a double stack, and then I got a double stack, and then I've got 2 double stacks. So everywhere I would gig, I had 2 Marshall double stacks with both heads running. Even if it was like a small pub, I had 2 double. I wasn't quiet, and then I whittled it down to 3 cabs and 2 heads, and then it whittled down to 1 half double stack, and then it was a half stack. And then, like 2018, I remember I was gigging the CR120 cab, and I was putting the cab in the back of the van, and my back just went, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going down!" And I just remember kind of like falling into the van with the cab in this weird comedic way. And they're like, "You're all right." I was like, "No, I can't move," and I totally basically destroyed the lower part of my back from carrying all these cabs over these years. And I was just like, "Oh, I can carry it." I was like, I'm like a stick thin. If I turn sideways, I go 2D. And there I am trying to lift these big old cabs. And I'm like, "You can't do this, Dave." And I was like, "Yeah, I can." And I've been doing it for years. And then you hit like your 30s, and all of a sudden everything starts falling off you. And I was like, "I need a smaller amp." I've done my back in. And I was trying everything. I tried high watt. I tried a couple of different amps here and there. I had high watt. I had the Fender Frontman 212R, and I had a couple of other amps as well, and nothing worked. And I was just like, "Oh, it's just not the same as having a half stack and 4 speakers or 16 speakers." And I was like, "It's just not there. It's not there." And then my friend who lived locally to me was just going, "Oh, I'm selling my Boss Katana 50. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard about these. I've heard they're supposed to be quite good. Go on." And I got it. And it was literally like someone had turned a light on. I was like, that can't be real. You can't have something that small sound that big and that good and do everything you need to do, especially pedals. They just love pedals, like you said. And then I got the 100, and I was even more blown away. And I was just like, where have you been all my life? Like, why didn't you exist? And I wouldn't have had such a ruined back. And it is one of those amps that it's the only combo I own where I can go to a gig and not miss my 412s, and that's really weird. That's really rare. There's nothing quite like the stage presence of a 412 cab, but the Boss Katana 100 or the 50, unreal amps. They really are. Yeah, they're just,
and they cut through as well. That's what I was really stunned by, was because I've got the 1 speaker version, 100, and even in the room with a drummer and a bass player, and at the time a keyboard player, even on just the 5 watt, it seemed to cut through really nicely if you just cranked it. Yeah. On the 50 watt, it was amazing. I've never switched the 100 watt on. I've never needed to. Because I've never needed that much headroom. You know, you can't get it past sort of 3 or 4 on the 50 in a practice room. So.
Yeah. No, so I'd say that is yeah, it is out. I did a gig. Where are we? Last year, end of last year, about 26th of December last year was I did a gig with the Katana 100, and I was playing this really big pub. And this guy, the other guitarist in the band I was playing with, had a Black Star half stack, and the bass player had I can't remember what it's the really high. It was like a 500 watt Marshall Fender bass amp. I forget what they're called. And there was my little Boss Katana on an amp stand, and they had to turn it down because it's like we can't hear the guitar. I was like, oh, it's like this little 1x12 speaker amp. It wasn't mic'd up. I think I had it on like 9 o'clock on the volume, and I was just like, you're brilliant. I just love it.
You just cut through.
Yeah. It was like, can't hear the other guitar or the bass. I was like, oh, sorry, turn it down a bit.
It's the the Katana advert, but for me it's and I've just watched your video on trying to get the studio to work for it. Yeah. I don't use it anymore. I've got an Android phone, and I use the little there's an app you can download for Android that lets you do it. But yeah, once you're in there and you can tweak, because to me it sounded really flat initially, and then I was reading on a forum and somebody said, oh, if you do the global EQ like this and just leave it, forget about it after that, and the whole thing just came to life suddenly, just with one tiny little tweak on the parametric EQ. And because that then sits there forever and is always the main EQ, and then you can tweak everything else, that was it. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. That affects every channel, every effect, perfect. And instantly. And also breaking the speaker in, because they have really, when they're brand new, they have awful speakers, and everyone moans about the speakers. Oh, it's really thin. And then give it a few weeks at a decent volume, and suddenly the speaker comes to life. Yeah, okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
And I can have you at any volume because you're digital mostly.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I've got my two Katanas just sat over there, and they are. So I've recently discovered the line out on it as well with DI out, and I'm like, God, I don't have to mic the thing anymore, which is great. And because I hate miking amps, because I always end up knocking the mic or something. But they are. It's incredible, really. It's just that's like I've never had any issues with the EQ, but I always don't use the EQ because I've never found the EQs to be really for the sound I want. I've always found kind of everything at zero to be where I want it to be. On occasion, though, especially if I'm running pedals, I do have to EQ the amp. But if I'm going straight into the amp, I always run a lot of the EQ on zero. It's just that's the sound I always find. But I had that issue with the Mark II where it sounded flat, lifeless, and dead. There's just nothing in it. I don't know if it was the version the one I had was dodgy or what, but I eventually got rid of it because it just frustrated me that much. But the Tone Studio was.
That was a good video. I enjoyed that.
After filming that yesterday and getting it uploaded yesterday and ready to go out, I left the house all day because I couldn't look at the amp. I was like, I can't look at you right now.
Let me down.
Like the first time, I am really disappointed in the amp. But saying it's not the amp, it's the tech. But
I'm not probably disappointed.
Yeah. And there's probably a bit of me in there as well because I'm like technologically inept with everything. Like I can't even program phones very well. I was like, how do you put a number in? I don't know.
Okay, so that's guitar, that's Katana. So the other thing I was going to ask you, and we're going to exclude the Katana from this question now. What's your favorite bit of not Katana, not guitar gear that you use on a regular basis? I saw your pedal board the other day. Seems to have grown. You're saying it's got quite large recently. What's kind of your thing that you just have to have?
I would say it's either my Zoom pedal or my Line 6 HX. I'd probably say the Line 6 HX has a little bit of an edge over my Zoom, but that's like those two are like the desert island things that like I'm happy to go to a gig with either of those pedals, and regardless of what amps there, regardless of what I need to play, regardless of what style I need to play or whatever, regardless of the guitar I've got as well, in a way. Although it better be this one, I won't be happy. But that's the thing I'm happy with. Like, when I got I've always used the Zoom pedal. I've always had a multi-effects unit, and I just find them to be absolutely brilliant. Especially, Zoom. I've used a Zoom since 2003. Starting off with a 606, and then going to the G2.1U. I've always used that pedal. It's like the brain of my sound, really. It's like that is the kind of one constant. And then the Line 6 HX came along, and it kind of one-upped it in a way, because obviously it's more advanced, it's newer, it's got it's got the ability to have 9 effects and 6 at any time you can have on. So it's just like one of those two is kind of like that one pedal that I could just never be without. And if I was really pushed to it, it'd have to be the Line 6. As much as it pains me to say that, because I'm a Zoom fanatic. But the Line 6 does everything you need it to do. It's a pedal board. It's everything it needs to be. It's perfect. And I say it's just wicked. And I say I've run that thing. I've done gigs where I've turned up and I've had to go to a gig and it's backline supplied, so you just kind of get what you're given. And everything I've plugged the HX into, it's took me 5 seconds to get the sound, and it just responds. No matter no ifs, no buts. I've had it into Fender amps. I've had it into a high watt Marshall valve amps and all sorts of weirdo amps. And it's just like, yeah, we've got you. It's support, it's consistent, and it works. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I must admit, the stomp does keep appearing on timelines and things in Instagram, and I keep looking at it going, because I always used to be the same. I was a big multi-effects person. I had the Zoom 1010, was it one of the old?
Yeah.
With the wah pedal, the pressure part, and then I had a Boss ME something. And I always had them for a long time, and then I stopped using them because I was I kind of went through a phase where I had every effect known to humankind, and then I went, no, I'm going to be a purist. I'm going to be an amp man. I'm going to just get. So I'd had this little Valvetronics amp that had a couple of effects built in. I was like, no, that's it. My sound is through the amp. And then I kind of started doing reviews a couple of years ago and started getting more and more pedals in. And kind of the pedal board grew and grew and grew and grew to the point where I couldn't play anymore because I was tap dancing the whole time. I just couldn't. So I need that pedal on that one, that one, that one. I don't have a switcher or anything, so it was like the good old fashioned. I need that one and that one at the same time. You got to split jump across it. And then kind of got the Boss Katana and thought, right, I don't need effects pedals anymore. I've got the Boss Katana, I've got the GAFC, and then didn't use it and just carried on with pedals. And I kind of gone through these sort of waves of either I have to have multi-effects or one effect or 2 effects. And now I've kind of hit a nice balance where I've got a couple of drive pedals. I just bought a Marshall Regenerator pedal, which is a couple of different univibe and bits in it. I like a univibe and a phaser. And I'm settled with it now. And then I keep seeing the Helix and I'm looking at it going, I can have anything. I can be everything in one place. Knowing full well that I'd get that and still need all the pedals and the amp, and I wouldn't be happy. I'd still need everything, and I still wouldn't record through it. I'd still, because when I record, I don't use any of it. I just plug straight into the Focusrite and then use an amp sim on Reaper, which I know is a sin, but I mean, I've just yesterday put this is one of John's little fuzz faces. You haven't tried this yet? Get a fuzz fake off him. It's one of his best. And I'm a proper sinner. It goes straight into the computer and into like a free cab sim, a free amp sim, and Torpedo, the free version of Torpedo cab sim. And you kind of people go to you, oh, it sounds really good. What amp are you using? Anvil something or other. I don't know. Ignite Anvil freebie. Like, oh, you use digital, do you? Yeah. But it works.
And that's all that matters. Is if it works, then nothing else matters. You get people you get people saying, I got it a lot with the John Frusciante community saying, "Oh, you need a Silver Jubilee, and you need a Marshall Major, and you need this C1 pedal, and you need the Japanese-made DS2, and you need the version 1 of the Ibanez One." And it's like, no, you don't. You really don't. And it's like you don't. You do need a DS2, and you do need the Ibanez One, but the Ibanez One can be got around. So the DS2 is the main pedal. So you need one pedal. The rest can be approximated, and it's like it's all about making things work and finding your way in what you have. Tom Morello did a video talking about it. I think it was his rig rundown he did, where he was saying he got to a point where he was just sick of tweaking stuff, and he just thought, right, this is the sound I've got. Let's make music. That's so. I reckon that's so important. I mean, I was kind of like on the same lines years ago. As soon as I found like the Marshall Governor and the Boss DS2 and certain other things like the Tone City Golden Plexi and the Jackhammer, I was like, I don't want any other pedals that do that, because they do that. It's like I will try different things, but it'll have to be something really special to make me go, well, it's gonna have to beat that kind of thing. So you can make things work. I mean, it's key to understand what you have, not what you haven't. That makes any sense.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, my big thing, first world problems, heavy distortion. I really can't get it right. I go, if it just had a bit more of this and a little bit less, and you think, no, come on, this is stupid. You've got to just make a choice at some point and settle something. Because you go to the studio, you play live, and everyone's going, that sounds amazing. And I was like, going, oh yeah, but 100 hertz frequency, and it's like, no, stop it.
Yeah, you can fall into a rabbit hole only too easily of going, but it doesn't quite have enough 5K for my liking. And it's like,
I nearly did it today. I did that silly thing of going onto eBay early in the morning when I couldn't sleep, and there was a Line 6 Uber Metal, and it's crap. It really is crap. And I've listened to the YouTube videos. It's crap. And I'm looking at going, I bet I could make something sound really good with that. It's only 20 quid on eBay. And I put the bid on there. I put it, so I use like one of those apps that puts the bid in at the last minute for you. And about 2 hours later, when I'm a bit more with it and I've had a few coffees, I'm like, cancel. Don't do it. You've got what you've got. Just deal with it for now. Just for a few weeks. Go for a few weeks with one sound. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the things that interests me most when I'm talking to guys is what's the worst stuff they've had come across the desk, because you get stuff in to review, you borrow things, and a lot of guys, when I say that, they go, well, I've never reviewed it, but I did get this and it was terrible. And it's usually a couple the thing which you put on the guitar to teach you how to play, the fret marker thing that lights up that everyone got and everyone hated. It's that, or there's like some Dan Electro pedal that just didn't work, and they go, but we don't review them because it doesn't make good YouTube. So what's the worst thing you've kind of looked and you tried it and just thought, this could only be worse if it spat acid at me?
Yeah. I don't know if they're still in business, and I'm kind of hesitant to say. I won't mention the company name just in case. But basically, what it was this concept that somebody had of, well, it was a stethoscope. That's all it was. And the idea was you could play your guitar acoustically without plugging it in and get different tones out of it by basically sticking this stethoscope on like different parts of the guitar. And it was like, put it on the headstock for distortion and put it on the body for clean tone. And it came, and it was literally a piece of plastic tubing with a really poorly Velcroed thing that didn't work and didn't stick to anything on a guitar. And you basically put these headphones in that just like, because of the plastic tubing was like, like really kind of, it was like really tough stuff. So it was really coiled. And so you stick the thing on the guitar, put the things in, and then the pipe would kind of recoil itself and just pull the thing back in the air. And you could never get it straight. You were like pulling it, going, just stay straight, and it goes straight back in. And I tried all these things, and I was like, all I'm hearing is this. I am not hearing anything of what you say. And I just messaged him back saying, they said, how did you think? Have you reviewed it? And I said, I'm not reviewing it. I said, it doesn't work. I said, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. It's not gonna happen. It's just totally pointless. And they got really annoyed with me because I wouldn't review it, and they sent it to me, and they got really annoyed. Well, all the people we've sent it to love it, and it's like, well, there's no reviews anywhere. Who are you sending it to? And I was like, they got really nasty with me, and I was just like, fine, you know what? It's going in the bin because you know what? It's just a piece of tubing. It's great if you want to listen to your heartbeat. But guitar-wise, it's nothing. And as I was like, if I review this, I am just going to rip it a new one, and I'm not doing that because it's just pointless. And people are going to watch this video going, what is that? It's just a piece of tube. And it didn't work.
How do you mic up a piece of tube?
I know, exactly. It's like, there's no electrical... I mean, I thought when they emailed me to start with, they made it out like what it was like an amplifier thing. You plug into your guitar, it sits on your guitar, and then you wear headphones and you can kind of alter the tone. I thought it was like some kind of battery powered, like little Vox amp plugins.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like that. So I thought, wicked. And then it arrived and it was just a stethoscope. And I was just like, what is this? And I say they got really narky with me and really upset that I wasn't going to review it, and the fact that I hated it and it was totally pointless. And they were just like, really not cool about it at all. So I was like, you know what, fine then, it's going in the bin, which is, I'm not to be horrible or nasty, but it's like, if you're going to be horrible to me, to give you constructive criticism about the thing that doesn't work. And I decided to take it around a few musician friends I had, and I was like, what do you think of this? And everyone was like, what does it do? I'm not a doctor, I don't need it. So it was terrible. It didn't work.
That sounds it. I believe you.
Yeah. I was just like, what the hell is this?
But you do get some crazy ideas. I mean, some of the MIDI guitars are always interesting. People kind of what it always amuses me because, and I know how the game works, and most of us at some point have reviewed something which maybe wasn't quite as good as it could have been, and have been maybe more rosy about it than we should have done, especially early on. I remember some of the pedals I reviewed when I first started. Oh, it's the best fuzz I've ever used, and it's only the second fuzz I've ever used in my life anyway. So it's going to be the second best. It's got to be. So, but no. So to try to start to wrap up a little bit. YouTube for you was kind of something you just got into because you were interested in. You wanted to get into doing stuff like hand turns and like a fun outlet. What advice have you got for kind of guys like me or guys starting out who are really interested in doing it? What would you say is kind of a couple of tips to help them along their way?
Number one, I'd say be honest. Be yourself as well. Don't ever try and be something you're not in YouTube, because there's far too much kind of like there's far too much kind of eye prim and proper when in reality you're not. So I don't like the idea of like YouTubers wearing a mask. Like, it's like on camera they're such and such. When you meet them in reality, they're totally different. So I always feel that if you want to be, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you've got to be brutally honest with things, and you've got to be brutally honest with yourself and the way you are. And if you're in a bad mood, be in a bad mood in the video. If you don't just be like, hey, this is brilliant, and inside you're just like, God, I just wish I could jump out the window right now. You've got to be honest, and people will respond to that better because you're not trying to be anything but what you are. Unfortunately, that kind of lends itself to trollism, where people will come along and go, no, look at the state of you. But at the end of the day, trolls are trolls, and you get them in every walk of life, and you can't really do anything about them other than just ignore them. Or the way I found to deal with trolls is reply to them. If you reply to them, for some reason, they never answer back, which is quite depressing sometimes, especially when you're kind of like, right, I'm going to argue with you, and then they just never reply. Damn. But yeah, it's like, oh, John Frusciante is this and such. Right, well, let's argue this one. Oh, you've disappeared. But but is his keyboard warriors. But no, I do feel like, you've got to be honest, you've got to be yourself, know your limits, work within the means of you, and and use what you've got to the best of your ability. Don't look at some of the channels that kind of like, have a budget, like a really big budget, and have big studios where they can record stuff, or have access to every pedal under the sun, or have sponsorship deals and stuff like that. Work with what you've got. Just do what you know. When I left Old Hat, I was terrified, and my dad still ribs me about it now, because I was when I left Old Hat, I was like terrified. I was like, I haven't got any vintage gear. I've got is a couple of solid state amps, a couple of pedals, and that's all I've got. And I'm like, people aren't interested in this. They want to, they watch the channel for the vintage gear. And but I started doing it anyway, and I was like thinking, this is terrifying, because I was like, this is literally about to blow up in my face and just plummet. But I feel that kind of like being very honest, and again, not having much production value, and I don't like cutting videos either. I don't like masses of editing. It's kind of like that's because I'm no good at it, and I have to work within that means. I can't do fancy videos where you get like, these amazing shots of a guitar, and then over the amazing shot of that guitar, and then this amazing shot of this pedal, and then all of a sudden, like, there's an amazing shot of a waterfront, and I can't do any of that. I can barely kind of like take a picture on my phone that's good enough, and so I'm useless with anything like that. So it's like, well, okay, so I'm just going to make videos that are what I can do, and within my means to do, and my ability to do, without trying to be something I'm not. I'm not trying to be this channel or that channel or this channel. I'm just going to be what I am, and I'm going to review things that I like. And I like cheap gear. I like solid state amps. I like I like budget stuff and stuff like that, because that's what I grew up buying, and that's what I can still buy now. I mean, I get amazing gifts like this and stuff like that, but like, that's what I grew up doing. I remember saving up for about a month and a bit for my first wah pedal that cost 40 quid, and I was like, I really want a crybaby. It's like, I've got to save up now, and I was like, everything I could like do to kind of get a little bit of money to put aside to get this 40 quid crybaby. I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I finally bought it, and I was like, yes. And, still to this day, some of my favorite pedals are the cheap pedals. I mean, the Boss DS2, the Marshall Governor, the Tone City Golden Plexi, the Marshall Jackhammer, and all these cheapo kind of pedals that I've used for so long, that kind of are what I feel me, if that's even a thing. Yeah. Because I don't really see that as kind of me. It's just kind of, I'm a mash of John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix, and that. But it's just
with a lot of echo and delay.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And but yeah, I mean, that's the thing with YouTube, is I feel you have to be honest. You've got to be brutally honest. And again, if something comes along that you don't like, don't review it, because people say all the time I remember I felt pressured into demoing the Marshall Code. I wasn't interested in the Marshall Code amp at all. And I kind of was under pressure. People were kind of saying, "Oh, review the Marshall Code. It's amazing." And I kind of gave in, and I reviewed it, and it was a really negative review on the amp, because I didn't like it, and I still don't. And I feel really bad because I don't like it, and it feels like it gives the wrong impression, because I didn't like it doesn't make it a bad product.
Yeah.
And I feel you can send people down the wrong line of that review, which every day I think I should delete it, and I think I am going to eventually. When I can't, should I delete it? I don't know. And that review could make somebody go, okay, I won't buy it, when they could have gone and got it, and it could have been their dream amp. And I don't like the idea of that. So I'd much rather review stuff that I go, this is amazing. and I could really stand behind. Whereas reviewing something, I'm like, this is terrible, and just giving it a bad rap is not really a good thing. So being honest, being and not reviewing stuff you don't like, and just being really genuine and be who you are. And if you're a bit, if you're a bit stupid, be stupid on camera. Just if you're serious, be serious. If you're whatever, be who you are, because that's what people will see. And if you put on a mask and you're whatever, you're going to upset people when they realize that's not who you are.
Yeah.
And you hear that all the time of people saying, "Oh, don't meet your heroes because they're not what they appear to be." And it's like, I wouldn't ever want somebody to. I wouldn't want to meet somebody like John Frusciante or Jimi Hendrix, and they were just the most horrible human being to mankind. When I hold them in such high regard, I wouldn't want that. So it's like, I would much rather kind of them be what they are. So if they are nasty and horrible, then be nasty and horrible. It's not going to get you anywhere, but be who you are, But you've got to work within the means of who you are and what you are. There's no point. You can't just fake it and you can't phone it in. And I don't like the whole idea of just kind of like you've got to and the most important part is you've got to really love music. You've got to be in it for the right reasons. You can't be in it to go, I'm going to become a YouTuber and I'm going to become famous and world famous and I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to do this and you're wrong reason. You should be doing it because you love music and you want to express yourself and you want to help people, teach people something that that they don't, or you should be in it for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons of like, I'm going to be a millionaire rock star one day. It's like, doors over there. You can let yourself. Not interested in that attitude at all. I hate it. I can't stand that attitude of like, oh yeah, I started playing guitar to pick up girls. It's like, well, shallow. I started playing guitar because I had problems and the guitar helped me.
Yeah. Music was what kept me going.
Exactly. Yeah. And I say it all the time. It's like, if the guitar didn't come along when it did, I wouldn't be here now. And that is a fact. I know that's a fact.
Right. So I suppose I'll probably do a proper ending and stuff here. So if you're interested in what Dave's doing, I will put his link in the description below. Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I am indeed. Yes. Yeah.
I'll find that link and everything. I'll be all professional like and put that down the bottom as well. And probably connect you if I'm not already, because I'm sure I must be connected to you on Instagram. Anyway,
I think you are.
Dave Rage, or Davrage, as I'm being, because I can't put capital letters on Instagram, so it's Davrage as opposed to Dave Rage. Oh my god, hello, dog. Sorry, I'm being attacked by my dog. Oh! Hello.
Oh, amazing.
Oh god. And you're going to eat my guitar now, aren't you? And the toilet. Excellent.
Oh, lovely.
There we go.